Hello everybody. So a quick single stock video today on Reddit. I just added Reddit to my spreadsheet. I finally got around to adding it and looking at the stock, and my first impressions for Reddit are, is it undervalued? Is it too cheap? Which I think the answer to that is yes, to both of them, undervalued and too cheap. So on Reddit, what do I get? EV over GP over RG, I get a 0.27. But the reason why I get a 0.27 is because I'm using analyst numbers of 47% next 12-month revenue growth, but they grew 70% the past 12 months, right? Last 12 months, they grew 70% LTM. And so are we going to drop from 70% to 47% growth? Are we going to see that much of a drop? I don't think so, especially because there's a midterm coming up, right? There's an election coming up, and we know ad companies do very, very well. And, knowing Reddit a little bit probably does very well with politics and stuff like that. But anyways, the money, they make money mostly from ads. This is an ad business, right? It's all about the ads. You run a social media, an interesting social media that people go to, and then you display the ads and you sell the ads. So same business model as a Facebook essentially, but of course on a much smaller scale, but also a very profitable business. This is not a typo. 45% EBITDA margin. This is not a typo. This is from a shareholder letter. They achieved EBITDA margin of 45%. That's really impressive if you ask me. So if I calculate rule of 40, I'm at a 92, but it's actually higher. If you look at the realized revenue growth, it's actually 115. And I like very much how this company communicates on the rule of 40. It's always a good sign when a company guides and communicates the rule of 40, right? Palantir does the same thing. I like this very much. They're tracking the rule of 40. They're at 115. We're way past 40. And 40 is often considered a good thing for like SaaS investing, right? And so, of course, this is also a business which, in my view, is not really at risk of being disrupted by just about anything, because it's a community. It's people who go there to interact, and sometimes they have tough interactions on Reddit. It's kind of a crazy place. Like most people, I end up on there reading stuff once in a while. It's kind of a crazy place, Reddit. So it's easy to understand that people go there for the community. They go there to talk and argue and do all sorts of Wall Street bets, whatever people do on there. They have 471 million active users, weekly active users. Now, I'm not one of them. I actually never posted anything on Reddit, but that's half a billion weekly active users, and you can see their daily active users is 121 million, and it's growing at a 19% clip year over year. So what does that tell you? Give it 3 years and a half worth of growth, roughly 3 years and a half to 4 years, and Reddit should have 1 billion with a B, 1 billion weekly active users if they can keep up that growth for 3 to 4 years. And of course, the growth is even faster at the international level. So you can see, the US is only 5% of the population, but it's almost half of the daily users. What does that tell you? What's going to tell you? It means that there's a lot of growth for Reddit in foreign markets. There's still a lot of growth coming up. 471 million weekly active users, and there's, I think, 8.3 billion people on the planet. Of course, you're not going to get the elderly and the kids, but you know what I mean. Also, what I love very much, there's a few more things I love very much. Let's talk about gross margin. Absolutely insane at 92%. Yeah, this is essentially pure profit. Look at the CapEx. There's essentially no CapEx. $3 million last year in Q4. So even if it was 12, there's no CapEx. There's no CapEx essentially. EBITDA margin is 45%. Gross margin is 92%. And then one thing that sometimes people don't like in these new stocks, these new companies, they just IPO'd, right, is shares outstanding. Well, if you look at the shares outstanding, total fully diluted shares outstanding were flat sequentially and down year over year. So down year over year on the shares outstanding. And management thinks they're very much undervalued. They announced a 1 billion share repurchase program that they have going on. So, of course, the share count is going to decrease. But look at how ruthless the market has been with Reddit. Minus 45%. since the IPO price. And of course, there's other stocks that the market has been entirely ruthless with innovation and new stock, right? I can think of Klarna. I can think of Figma. This market has been a bloodbath for any type of IPO, any type of new issue. The market has thrown away all sort of analysis. The market doesn't analyze anything. It just sells. That's all it's doing right now. But when I look at Reddit, and of course, and it's founder-led, right? It's founder-led. The CEO is the co-founder of Reddit. So if I were the co-founder of Reddit and I just IPO'd and I would see my stock being halved for no reason, I would be very sour about going public. This is also part of an unfortunate thing. Whether you look at Figma or Reddit or Klarna, it's like these businesses, they're not going to want to go public if the market just treats them like punching bags. It's literally what it is. So it makes absolutely no sense to me. Is this stock too cheap? I think so. Is this stock undervalued? Yes, it is undervalued. On my spreadsheet, I consider anything under 0.5 on EV over GP over RG to be a good buy. Right? What the PEG ratio of Peter Lynch would say under 1 is good. For me, it's under 0.5. It's a good buy. At a 0.27, it's under 0.3. If it's under 0.3, I find it a very, very good buy. A very good buy. Not like the cheapest ever, like a HIMS, for example, which is sitting at like a 0.08, but still a very good buy. And also, I'm fully aware that EV over GP over RG here is probably 0.21 or 0.22 because the next 12-month revenue growth is probably going to be higher than 47%, probably maybe 60%, right, or 65%. Company growth decelerates, but it doesn't decelerate that fast, and especially when we have a big ad season coming up with the midterms. So anyways, this was not investment advice. This is not financial advice. This is only entertainment. I'm hoping you're entertained. Please like, please subscribe, follow me on Patreon, follow me on X. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.